Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the next lecture of Organization of Commerce and Management subject. I am Mrs. Neeta Ivle. We are studying first chapter. In last lecture, we understood first 14 principles of management given by Henry Fayol. Hope you understood the principles of management. Let's move further. Today, we will talk about F.W. Taylor's scientific theory and principles of scientific management. I mean, scientific management theory and principles of scientific management given by Taylor. So, let's start. F.W. Taylor was an American engineer who sought to improve industrial efficiency. Through his hard work and progress, he rose to the position of the chief engineer. He introduced his observation and experiment based on scientific data. This theory involves the application of scientific approach to design, to decision making and solving them at the same time. According to Taylor, problems should be solved by scientific techniques rather than the rule of thumb and a trial and error approach. Taylor's approach towards management is termed as scientific management. For this contribution in development of management thoughts, he is known as father of scientific management. Friends, don't forget that Taylor is known as the father of scientific management. Now let's see the definition which Taylor has given us. Scientific management consists of knowing what you want men to do exactly and seeing it that they do it in the best and the cheapest manner. Right? So, what is scientific management? It consists of knowing what you want men to do exactly and seeing it that they do it in which manner? In the best and the cheapest manner. Right? Now let's move further. We will go through principles of scientific management which Taylor has given us. The first principle is science, not rule of thumb. The rule of thumb method should be substituted with the method developed through scientific analysis of work. Rule of thumb decisions are based on personal judgment of the manager. This principle states that we should not get stuck in a set routine with the old technique of doing. Rather, we should consistently be experimenting to develop new technique which make the work much simple, easier and quicker. The principle is considered and concerned with selecting the best way of performing job after scientific analysis of the job and not by trial and error method. Standard required time and standard output should be defined by the manager. This will help to solving time and human energy and result into expected standard output. According to Taylor, even a small production activity like loading iron sheet into boxcars can be scientifically planned. Now see the next principle. Harmony, not discord. An organization instituted by the group worker and management. According to this principle, there should be harmony between employee and management. It is very important, students. They must create the give and take relationship. right? In the workplace, therefore, Taylor emphasizes on mental resolution, which means to change of attitude of both groups based on principles. What he want? He want to change the attitude of both groups. They should share the opinion and ideas of each other. The coordination of employee and management will help in minimizing conflict between them. Perfect understanding between the employee and management will be helpful in creating healthy work environment for achieving the desired goals, that is success, and endly earn profit. Okay, so this was the second principle. See the third one, mental revolution. Taylor introduced the concept of mental revolution. The technique of mental revolution involves a change in the attitude of workers and management towards each other. Both should be realize the importance of each other and should work with full cooperation. Management as well as workers should aim to increase the profit of the organization. For this, the workers should put in their best efforts so that the company makes profit, and on the other hand, management should share part of profit with the workers. The mental resolution requires a complete change in the outlook of both management and workers. There should be spirit of togetherness between workers and management. Now see the fourth one, that is cooperation, not individualism. This principle emphasizes on mutual cooperation between workforce, that is employees and management. Who are the workforce in the company? Management and employees. Due to cooperation, trust, team spirit, etc., internal competition will turn into healthy working environment. That is very, very important to get success. Management and workers should realize the importance of each other. Workers should be considered as part of management and should be allowed to part of management and should be allowed to pick back in decision making process of the management. Management should always welcome their suggestions and should be rewarded of them if suggestions prove to beneficial for the organization. That is reduction of cost or increase in production. At the same time, workers should also resist from going to strike or making unnecessary demand from management. This is from the part of workers. What they are expected, that workers should always resist from going to the strike and making unnecessary demand from management. Workers should be considered as an integral part of the organization. It is from the part of management, and all important decisions should be made in consultation with workers. Taylor also suggested that there should be proper division of work and responsibilities between the two. Management should also guide, encourage and help the workers to improve their performance. Now see the fifth one, division of responsibility. There must be equal division of responsibility between the manager and worker. Management should accept responsibility for the work for which it is more appreciated. Major planning is done by the top and middle level management authorities, whereas employees are concentrating on its execution. Let's have an example. Management should be deciding the method of work, working conditions, time for completion of work, etc. Instead of leaving these to the discretion of workers. In an organization, the reporting of the work done as per the schedule and instructions given by their top level management or immediate superiors. It is expected that higher authorities should always guide, motivate, and help their subordinates to better performance. This harmony raises the total productivity of workers and managers too. Now, the last principle given by Taylor is development of employer and employees for greater efficiency and maximum prosperity. Industrial efficiency depends to a large extent on personal efficiency, right? As much scientific management also stood for worker development. Worker training was essential as best performance of business depends on the qualities and skills of their employees. According to Taylor, efficiency could be built in right from the process of employee selection at the time of selection of the employee. Each person should be scientifically selected. To increase efficiency, they should be given the required training and providing development programs. On the other hand, employees should be given equal opportunity to obtain efficiency. This will ensure that workers' greatest efficiency and productivity for both organization and workers. Today we understood 6 principles of management. Let's have quick review of today's learning. The first principle is science, second is harmony, then mental revolution, then cooperation, fifth one is division of responsibility, and sixth one is development of employer and employees for greater efficiency and maximum prosperity. Hope you understood all the 6 principles of management given by F.W. Taylor. In next lecture, we will discuss F.W. Taylor's techniques of scientific management. Okay, techniques are also given by Taylor, and we will discuss these techniques of scientific management in next lecture. Thank you for watching this lecture attentively.